Welcome back to the Childhood Cancer Perspective, and surprise, you've got me again this week. I am running into some difficulties securing people for the show simply because we're running into the end of summer, last minute changes in vacations, and getting close to starting school again. And of course, every other factor that goes into this community and lining people up in dates and times. But I promise you, I am working behind the scenes to get more guests on the show to be able to share their perspective on the pediatric cancer world. Until then, I promise I'm going to keep putting out episodes. They may be shorter, they may be longer, but I'm going to be here to help you get through and navigate this process, hopefully help you relate to a certain thing that's going on in your life. And again, if you are a member of this pediatric cancer community, whether a family member, a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a warrior, an advocate, any way that you are connected, if you would like to share your story and personal connection, please reach out to me at ccperspectivepod@gmail.com, and we will talk and have a conversation about how we can get you on the show and maybe how your story can help impact others. So this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my time talking to you about support. Now, I think that I've probably covered this way back, and we're talking, this is the 85th episode. So we were talking way in the beginning, talking about support and how it tends to kind of go away when you get to a certain point in this process, in this journey, or in this shit show, as my wife will call it. Now, in the very beginning, when you have a diagnosis of pediatric cancer, a diagnosis for your child, I've mentioned it in the past that it's not a personal diagnosis for that person. It is a family diagnosis. It's seen everybody in the family or the close-knit circle is affected by that diagnosis. And therefore, when that happens, the support seems to come out of everywhere. You will hear from people. It's much like you could almost compare it to winning the lottery. When you, and hear me out for a second. When you win the lottery, you will hear from people that you've never heard of in your life. You will hear from people that you knew for 5 minutes 6 years ago. You will hear from people that you went to kindergarten with. You will hear from people that you haven't spoken to in 20 years. All of a sudden, all those people are there. The same thing goes for a diagnosis like this. You will hear from people that you may not have talked to in decades. You may not have maybe even spoke to ever, but you're friends on Facebook because they're mutual friends, and maybe you went to high school with them but never actually interacted, whatever. You will hear from people. And I'll be honest with you, it actually is really, really refreshing and comforting to hear from people, even the ones, more so maybe the ones that you haven't heard from in years or have ever heard from, because they're offering support in a situation where you are essentially on an island. Unless you know people that are going through this, you're going to feel alone. You're going to feel like you're all by yourself. Even with your family around you, you're going to feel like you're fighting this battle all alone. So that support is pretty incredible. That support is pretty important. And that support is what can keep you going. That support is what can continue to give you the strength to actually get up every single day and attack this disease and attack the treatments and everything and make it a positive move for you guys. Try and, come up with the best plan possible for your child. And if I jump around here, we'll kind of come back to it, but what you will notice, or what we've noticed and what we've heard from other families as well, is that support, once you get past the initial shock stage, you get through that support, it will start to kind of wane away. It'll start to go away. It'll start to disappear. First, it'll be the long distance friends that you haven't heard from in a while. They've given you their support. They've given you their well wishes. They've given you their condolences, all of that. And then now, they've got their karma points and they move on. Now you have maybe longer distance family, but same thing. You'll get that support. You'll get the phone calls, the emails, the letters, the Facebook messages, whatever. And in our case, like if we take our case, for example, when JC passed, that support tended to go away. It wasn't as strong as it was. And I will make a very strong argument that says that as soon as your child either rings the bell and is considered NED and you're at that 5-year mark and you're living day to day, or if your child passes, at that moment, I think that you need the support more than you did in the beginning, because at that point, I believe that the fight really begins once you hit that NED status, the 5-year status, when you hear your yearly scans and stuff, because you will get that anxiety. You will get, every little thing is going to throw you off. Every little thing is going to make you worried about something. I get it. When your child passes, you are then left in a world without your child with you. And if you have other kids, which I've spoken about, and I think I spoke about it last week, when you have other kids, it becomes more difficult every single year. Every single year your child is gone because you're watching your other children grow up and accomplish those things and not have for us, your daughter with you. And then that support that you could have used, that support to lean on, it's gone because people either assume that you have moved on, you have found a way to live your life and you no longer need their support, or they just assume, or they just think that it's time for you to move on. They think it's time for you to get over it, time for you to just live your life. Something shitty happened, deal with it. And the unfortunate side of it is that kind of support, and I mean support in a very loose way, comes from the closest people to you. And most of the time, family, because they feel it, but at the same time, they're able to move on with their life without that family member because they're not directly impacted. And so the biggest thing that changes along the way is they assume that because, let's look at it like this. They assume that if the child's hair grows back, they're okay. They assume that if they ring the bell, they're okay. They assume that if they become NED and they reach the 5-year status, which in the cancer world ultimately means you're cured, and I use that term extremely loosely, when you get to that point, people look at it like, you don't need my support anymore. You've already won. You've already beaten this thing. What are you asking for at this point? The reality is a lifetime of worrying, a lifetime of questioning. How did we get here? Could we have gotten here a different way? Could we have made different choices that would have changed the outcome of where we are now? Could we have done things that would have made things better in the outcome that we are now? Would that have changed? The truth is, you'll never know the answer to that question. But the support of people letting you lean on their shoulders, letting you give them, scream into their ears in the phone, or scream into their email box with capital letters, whatever it is, that support is something that you need, I think, more once you hit such a huge milestone or such a huge tragedy. The milestone meaning the NED status, the 5-year status, the end of treatment status, the maintenance status, all of that. And the tragedy, obviously, being your child passing away from this disease. I think that's when the support really needs to be there. And unfortunately, it's almost the complete opposite. That support is almost gone at that point. And you have to do anything that you can do to try to get through every single day and wonder what you did wrong to drive people away. When the truth is, you did nothing wrong. People don't understand how to deal with people that are going through tragedies, have gone through tragedies. They don't know how to speak to them. And their best idea, and I spoke about this in an entire episode way in the beginning, their best idea to help you when they don't know what to say is just to go away, just to ghost you, because they feel like the more that they talk, the more that they say, the more that they bring up, if they say the wrong thing, if they ask you about your child, if they ask you about whatever, it's going to do more damage than it is good. So they just decide to leave. I'm here to tell you 100%, the worst thing that you can do when a parent, a family is going through something as tragic as losing a child is to walk away. The worst thing that you can do when a parent or a family or a child is going through a diagnosis like cancer, and they're going through harsh treatments, and they're going through these long overdue hospital stays and all of this stuff, the worst thing you can do is walk away. The worst thing you can do is be quiet. The best thing that you can do is just be there. The best thing you can do is offer anything to them. It doesn't matter if you're offering to buy their groceries, if you're offering to pick their groceries up for them, if you're offering to bring them coffee in the morning, if you're offering to come and sit with their other children or maybe their animals while they just take a walk, whatever. The best thing that you can do doesn't always have to be monetary. It can honestly just be there. That's it. And the unfortunate side of all of this is that support, like I said, is very, very prominent in the beginning. It's very prominent when it first happens, and then it disappears. And you wonder, you find yourself questioning and wondering, what were you here for in the first place? Why were you here in the first place? Why were you there when we were crying? Why were you there when we were saying goodbye? Why were you there when we were trying to garner support or organize a parade or anything. Why were you there? Why did you buy bracelets? Why did you buy shirts? Why did you show up for an event that we did while our daughter was fighting this? And then when she passed, why all of a sudden did you not support us anymore? And as a family, we feel this. As a family, we see this a lot. To be honest with you, I feel every single day, I feel extremely disappointed in people. And and I'm not even talking about politicians. Like, we can take that out of the equation, and that can be a whole episode on its own. But when I say that I'm disappointed in people, I'm disappointed in people because those are the ones that I'm the most disappointed in, are the ones that supported us so heavily in the very beginning. We're there. We're checking in on us. We're messaging us, emailing us, texting us, dropping off things at our house, whatever. Anytime we were around, we were talking, we were having conversations, any of that, they were there. You posted something on Facebook, they were the first ones to comment, the first ones to like it, all of that. And people that will still today, every now and again, will say something or make a comment on social media, but you get zero support from them for any other time in the year. Any other time. I'm the most disappointed with people that we were the closest to for the longest amount of time before anything, before any diagnosis, any sickness, any treatments, any of that. Before any of that, we're the closest to some people that have completely disappeared. But yet, if you see them in public, they'll probably be cordial to you and talk to you as if you guys are best friends, talk to you as if they know nothing about what's going on in your life or what you're trying to do as a nonprofit, what you're trying to do legislatively, any of that. Those same people I'm the most disappointed in. And, far be it for me to call people out, but our daughters, all of them, they went to the same school. They went to the same school from preschool, pre-K 4, all the way up to 8th grade. That was, Miley went from all the way to 8th grade. Annalise was just above that because we did preschool in another state, and JC did preschool all the way up and, until she couldn't go to school anymore. And they were all in the same school. So we were at that school for a long time. 10 years. 10 years, we gained a lot of people, a lot of friendships, a lot of what we thought were close connections. Even the school in general, they have a bench outside of their back door where it's next to the playground with JC's face and a quote from the card that was at her funeral. They have that bench solidified, will never move, at their building. We have teachers in that school that still have items of hers. They have a picture up of her in that school. And every single time we go to that school for any reason, which isn't often, to be honest with you, her stuff is there. She's remembered in that school, and she's remembered amongst some families that will stay in touch with us, but 90% of them don't speak to us anymore. They don't talk to us about anything. They don't attend our events. They don't donate for us to continue what we're doing. They don't involve themselves in our lives anymore because now that we're no longer technically connected to the school, we don't matter anymore. And that's what it feels like. That's my biggest disappointment. My second disappointment, which came from, years and years ago, but also is kind of current, is people that I work with, people that every single day know what I do, know what we do, and maybe they don't know our whole story. People in my previous job, they know my entire story. They were there when I had to take time off. They were there when I came back to work, and I could, I got hugs from people. I got, what do you need? Let me know what you guys need. Reaching out to me, asking if we needed anything for the hospital, anything when we were at home, all of this stuff. I talk to none of them anymore. They don't reach out to me. They don't make any efforts. And I'm not perfect either, reaching out to people and staying in communication. But the fact is that we are super active on social media, and we're super active in any way, shape, or form with people in this community, that our events and what we do every single day have never changed. If anything, they've evolved into something better. And not having that support from people that you thought you had support from, or people that were in your corner for so long and understood what your story was, and especially those with kids, especially those that could look you in the eye and say, I have no idea. Now, this is one of those things, if you go and you search, You'll find people that say, don't ever say this to a parent that goes through this. Don't ever say this. And to an extent, there are some things I would agree with. But, one of them is, I don't know how you're so strong. I don't know how you get up and do it every single day. I don't know what I would do if it was my kid. I don't know what I would do if something happened. And listen, the truth is, behind all of that, there's only one answer. We were never given a choice. That's why we're strong. That's why we're fighting. That's why we get up every single day, because we not only have other responsibilities, we have other children, we have a life, we have a nonprofit, we have a business to run, we have things to do, all to secure JC's legacy. That's why we don't stop. We weren't strong for any other reason aside from the fact that we did not have a choice. And anybody that's a parent would be in that same boat. If you weren't given a choice, you would be stronger than you ever thought possible. You would get up and you would handle it, and you would do it every single day because you were never given an opportunity to say no. But the people that I thought, and as a family, I think every single day, my wife and I will talk and we will have conversations about this. And, we have a very, very tight knit circle of friends right now, and a very tight knit circle for various reasons. But the people that are closest to us, I can promise you, they will never stray. They will never walk away. They will never turn their backs, and we will never turn our backs on them. And they are the strongest people that we know. And we know exactly why they're strong, and we know exactly why they are the people that they are. And those people are the most important people to us. And we will go scorched earth for them any day of the week. I can promise you that. And we are doing our best to partner with them and partner with other organizations and partner with other families to ensure that we create the best legacy for our kids, and we create the best future for this community, for the pediatric cancer community and all the families involved in it. But in order to do that, in order for us to secure those legacies, in order for us to create this future, we have got to see the support from not only our friends and our family and our neighborhoods and our communities and our politicians, but we have got to see support all the time. The support has got to come from day one until we tell you we don't want it around anymore, which is never going to happen. So what I'm saying is support needs to never stop. And we unfortunately all too often see that support go away. We see that support disappear when we need it the most. And I'll be completely honest with you right now. As I'm recording this episode, I am beyond stressed and beyond a level of stress that I think I have felt in quite a long time. We are in the midst of planning and getting our event ready for the end of this month to bring in money to Battlecorn Care Packages, or AKA Battlecorn Global, as we are now a global organization, not just focusing right here in our backyard, but trying to make a difference across the globe. As we prepare for that event also proves the support for our organization, or the support for our community, is not nearly as strong as we thought it would be once we got this far into it. We are now 5 years into running this, 5 years into running an organization, 5 years into raising money, donating to research, donating to the hospitals, sending care packages, all of that. And I thought at this level, at this point, and that's not me putting us on a pedestal, and I don't brag a lot. I can if I want to, and sometimes I do, because I feel like we get out there and we bust our asses and we get no recognition. And the only recognition I want is knowing that we're here and knowing that we've got a seat at the table. That's the recognition that I want, because that seat at the table secures voices. That seat at the table secures an opportunity for every single child battling this damn disease. That seat at the table provides all the opportunities, chances, voices, and change necessary. Without that, we have nothing. Is the only recognition that I ever fight for, and that's all I ever want. The problems that we've had lately to secure that support shows me that seat at the table is getting further and further away and not closer. So anybody that is listening, that runs an organization like ours, a like-minded organization for pediatric cancer in any shape or form, whether it's care packages, financial support, end-of-life expenses, gas cards, food, money, whatever it is, I want comments. I want to speak to you. I want to talk to all of you about either the ups, the downs, the roadblocks, the hills that you have reached when it comes to fundraising and donations and support in general. I do know that based on speaking to others around the country, that it has been a tough year for fundraising, a tough year for donations. And listen, that could be attributed to a million different things. And I'm not going to attribute to one thing, left, right, down the middle. It's not going to happen. It's all over the place reasoning for these types of things to go away, or for support to drain, to just not be there. But without that support, we cannot continue to operate. We cannot continue to do what we want to do. And that what we want to do is advocate. What we want to do is we want to fight for these kids. What we want to do is we want to give them a voice and a seat at the table. We want to fund research. We want to find things that can make a difference in the day-to-day life, with treatments, with therapies, with anything. And in order to do that, in order to do all of that, in order for these kids to have a chance, we need support. So this is not me stumping for donations. This is me saying that not only as families that are going through this, not only as the warriors that are facing this head on, not only as communities, but as an entire organization, all of that, we all need the support, both financially, mentally, psychologically. We need all of it. Emotionally, we need all of that support, but we need the support to stay steady. So if you've ever been in a position, so we're going to talk on both sides here. If you've ever been in the position where you've had a friend or a family member that has gone through something like this, and you were absolutely, like, I'll admit that I'm in the same boat when some things come up. I don't know how to respond. I don't know what to say. What I will tell you is that when I do speak to new families or new parents, I will say the first thing is there's nothing that I'm going to be able to say that will make it better. There's nothing I'm going to be able to say to take the pain away. But I can promise you the one thing you have is me. You have my ear. You have whatever I can offer you. You've got it. I will not walk away from you. That's what we need. That's the key. And I'm not saying that everybody has to become an advocate. I'm not saying that everybody has to become a mentor or a listener or something like, you don't have to put your phone number out on the internet so everybody can call you. But if you've ever been in a position where something has happened tragically, or a diagnosis of cancer or some other type of disease has happened, and you clearly did not know what to say, so you thought the best thing to do was just not say anything at all. The best thing to do was I'll wait until they reach out to me. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Most of the time, they're not going to reach out to you. And that's because it's not because we're too proud to ask for help. It's not because we're too proud to ask for advice. It's that we don't know what we need. We don't know what type of support we need, but we know that we need it. So we don't know what to ask for. So the best thing that you can do in a situation like that is that you can just reach out. Just reach out and offer that support. Just reach out and speak to people. Reach out and tell them, like I said in the beginning, I said, call them up, send them a text message, whatever. Listen, I want to come and I want to take your other kids and I want to take them to the park for the day, or I want to take them to a movie so you can relax, or I want to come and I want to bring your groceries for you. I want to bring you a meal, whatever. Or listen, here's my phone number. I want you to know that you can call me anytime, day or night. I want you to understand that I'm going to be here for you no matter what. Whatever you need, if I can provide it, I'll be there. You don't have to leave yourself open-ended financially to anything like that. You don't need to put yourself in a position where you can't live your life by being, on call all the time. But at the same time, you can make yourself available to give them what they need when they don't know what they need. I had a conversation with an author. It was pretty big, and it was last year. And the reality of the situation, it was the beginning of this year, actually. But the reality of it is a handbook to tell you what you need, what you should do, what you can do. It's great. And I wish I had it when I was going through all of this with Jace, but I didn't. And a lot of people are in the same position, and a lot of people don't have access to these, to that. So asking for help is something that you look at like a weakness. Asking for help is something that you look at like that takes away your ability to be in control. When in reality, I think it does the complete opposite. And the only way you're going to get what you want is by asking. And so now we'll go to the other side. You're in a position where something like this comes up, something like this happens, tragic in your life, and you have to find a way to live your day-to-day life, but you and people are asking you, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? The first thing, the first thing you do is you say, I don't know, but please just be there for me. Please just be there if I need you. And I think you would be ridiculously surprised at the amount of people that would just be there for you if you just asked for that. Just please, I want to call you on the phone and I just want to talk, but I just want you to listen, or I want your advice, and I don't know who else to ask, whatever. You have to be willing to kind of make yourself vulnerable at a time when you are the most vulnerable, and you have to be open to letting advice come in. You have to be open to allowing people to talk to you and to listen to you and to be there for you and offer you help, even if that help is just simply, I'm going to sit with you while you cry. I'm going to sit with you and we're going to go get coffee. I'm going to come over and I'm going to sit at your house while you take a walk. I'm going to come over, whatever. You would be surprised, I think, at the smallest gestures, how much they truly mean to people. The smallest gestures can mean the most if you just take the opportunity to really ask what people need. And you, as the person that needs it, take the opportunity to say yes. There's a saying that goes that if somebody offers you something, if maybe let's just use my old life and say you're a mail carrier. And if someone offers you a water or a candy bar or someone, some business, they offer you a slice of pizza, you say yes, even if you don't want it. Because if you don't, there's a possibility that they'll never offer it to you again. And when you really need it, it won't be there. Just say yes. People offer to bring your mail in from the street, bring your trash cans out to the street, mow your grass, bring you groceries, drop off a meal. Yes, you're going to get a lot of casseroles. Just say yes. Just say yes. Just accept the help. Accept the generosity. Because if you don't, or if you continue to say no, that generosity, that's one way to kill the generosity. It will go away because people are going to feel, unfortunately, some people do it out of the goodness of their heart. Some people need that validation that they've done something right. And if you continue to say no, they'll just assume that they're unappreciated and they won't bring it anymore. So what I really wanted to cover today and really wanted to talk about was, and I think I jump a lot, and I know that I do, and I apologize to everybody that listens if I jump around, just kind of the way my brain scatters, and plus with the stress level that we're at right now, I'm doing the best to kind of keep it together with all of that. But it's support. I've noticed a huge drop in support for our events every year, for our events in general throughout the year, not just our main one, for participation in those events, for people that say, oh, yeah, I'll participate. Oh, I'll donate. Oh, I'd love to get involved. And then you never hear from them again. It's an unfortunate thing to see because you do spend a lot of the times questioning whether or not it's you or whether or not it's your family or your organization that is turning people off. And I would say 99.9%, it's not. I would say the reality of what's doing it is people look at the topic. People look at pediatric cancer. People look at sick children. People look at something that they don't think they can fix and or face every single day. And so not getting involved is their way of not having to worry about it. And it sounds horrible, but unless we sit down and interview companies and interview people and say, why don't you support organizations that do this? Or why don't you support families? Why do you walk away? Or why do you choose not to make donations as companies to them? Why do you choose that? We're never going to know the answer for sure. But the truth is, when it comes to the support that we need, both financially, emotionally, psychologically, all of that, we don't have big budget. We don't have commercial budgets. We don't have marketing teams that are going to put together commercials that are going to draw in millions and millions and millions of dollars every single year. We don't. We're not going to have that. We're never going to have that. We're going to be doing this every single day out of our basement, which is where Battlecoin is run. We're going to be doing this every single day with the support of our very, very, very tight circle of friends. We're going to be doing this every day as a family until a difference is made that we see that is substantial, and that is legacies left behind by these children are fulfilled and given to other children, meaning that seat at the table finally means that we've made it. When we're finally sitting at that table speaking to the people that are actually going to ensure that these legacies are fulfilled, whether it is building a building, whether it is a groundbreaking research that is going to make a difference, a true difference, whether it is legislation that secures billions of dollars, that it makes research infinite, whether it is a new group of people, a new group of intelligent scientists that are coming in from all over the country, all over the world to come in and actually make amazing discoveries and make those things, because they don't have to worry about where the money's coming from, about where the samples are coming from, about the support that they're going to get from the schools, the states, and the legislature. Until that all happens, we are going to be every single day busting our asses to ensure that those things do. But it is a painstakingly long and grueling process, and that process requires support. And it doesn't always have to be in the form of finances. That support could just be in the form of reaching out and saying, hey, I'm here. If you need me to listen, if you need me to volunteer, if you need me to drive flyers around, if you need me to come and be at your event and work, whatever, that's event side, that's organizational side. On the family side, it's like I said before, reach out and just offer you, just yourself, and you will make a massive difference just by doing that. All right, guys, I think that I could probably, and if you know me personally, or if you listen to the podcast, you know that I could talk forever. Like I said before, I have got a handful of people that are lined up right now. I am working on getting the dates and schedules and times together so that you don't just have to listen to me every single week talk about things. However, that's why I started this podcast, because I wanted a way to be able to speak to people on a more open platform and be able to say what I want and not have it be censored by social media. So that's what I'm continuing to do. I have never missed putting out an episode every single Wednesday, and I'm not going to start now. So I will get this episode out. You will have it on Wednesday. And next week, hopefully I will have one of those guests lined up and their schedule will be secured, that I'll be able to speak to them and get their specific insight, both as a parent, as a nonprofit owner, and get their insight in the pediatric cancer world and how it affected them. And like I said, this is all meant to be able to help people, help anybody and everybody relate in certain things, because it's just like being in a classroom. If you have a question and you're afraid to ask, I promise you that there's 10 other kids that have the same question and they're afraid to ask too. So we want everybody to raise their hands and ask that question, and then you will have something to relate to. Maybe it's something that you're going through, something that happened with treatment, with diagnosis, with symptoms, whatever, that you can relate to on a level that puts you in communication, because all the people that I interview, their communications are there. You can get in touch with them. And that's what I'm hoping to do, is build a bigger and more effective and unstoppable force of pediatric cancer advocates coming together in a way that there's no way that any government entity or any force alive is going to be able to stop what we're doing and stop our forward movement. That is my hope, and that's what I think we're going to do. So I just need you all to stick with me as long as you can, and I promise you, we'll start to get some episodes together where I can have some other people on here talking. So again, if you are a parent, and an organization, a warrior, an author, anybody connected to the pediatric cancer community, medical professionals as well, I've had a few of them on. If you would like to speak on my podcast, again, is an uncensored platform, ccperspectivepod@gmail.com. We'll have a conversation, get a date set up, and see where it works to get you on the show, and you can share your specific insights. Every single week, of course, I ask my guests to give advice at the end of the episode. And my advice is simply going to be to reiterate exactly what I've said throughout this episode today, which is when you get into a position both on the outside and on the inside. If you're on the outside and a friend, a family member, somebody has a tragic situation happen, take the time to just offer you, just offer yourself, just offer your time, your ear, your ability to just be there. Okay. And if you are on the inside and the tragic thing happens to you or your family, your child, be okay to accepting help, be okay to allowing people to be there for you, and don't be afraid to say yes. Don't be afraid to say yes, even if you don't think it's something you're going to need or something you need right then. People want to help, and you don't want to shy them away from helping. Just be there, be open, be available, be vulnerable. It's okay. It does not show signs of weakness to ask for help. So again, thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you guys for listening to me one more week. I promise you, I'm going to bring you those new episodes soon. Hopefully next week, you will see somebody else on here with me, and you won't just happen to listen to me talk. So I'll see y'all next week. You guys have a great, great week.